Hello, and welcome back to another episode. This episode is going to be a deck builder for ongoing deck types. Let's get into it. So, here is the deck that I have found online just for the basis of our deck. Let's look at the cards that we have in here, and then I'll do some play tests, and then we'll make some adjustments to the deck, and then I will play some more, and that should be a good deck. So let's get started. First, we have Ant-Man. Ongoing, if you have 3 other cards here, plus 3 power. We have Nightcrawler. You can move this once. Armor. Cards at this location can't be destroyed. Colossus. Ongoing, can't be destroyed, moved, or have its power reduced. Lizard. -3 power if your opponent has 4 cards here. Mr. Fantastic. Adjacent locations have +2 power. Punisher. +1 power for each opposing card at this location. Captain America. If your other cards at this location have +1 power. Namor. +5 power if this is your only card here. Iron Man. Ongoing, your total power is doubled at this location. Claw. The location to the right has +6 power. And Spectrum. Give your ongoing cards +2 power. So this card right here is going to be our win condition. We are going to want to get her out on turn 6. And she's just going to boost every other ongoing card that we have in this deck. Without further ado, let's get into some practice matches. Alright, here we go. I have a recorded version, that way I can go ahead and pause and stop when I need to. So let's start by taking a look at our opening hand. We have the Punisher, Lizard, Mr. Fantastic, and Namor. The first location revealed is Death's Domain. When you play a card here, destroy it. So I don't have any cards in my opening hand. I go ahead and pass. Our opponent plays the Quicksilver. And then we have Tinker's Workshop +1 energy this turn, which is really good because all of the cards in my hand cost a lot of mana. I'm going to play the Mr. Fantastic to go ahead and boost the right and left lanes. Our opponent plays the Hawkeye into the Star-Lord. We did play a card here, so they will get the buff for that. Crimson Cosmos. Cards that cost 2, 3, or 1 can't be played here. I'm going to go ahead and play the Punisher mid because it looks like our opponent is playing most of their cards mid, so the Punisher will get a nice healthy boost, which is what we want. And then I use my armor to keep my cards from being destroyed. And that's one of the big useful things. There are some cards that will destroy your cards. But armor is one card that you can place down on any of the locations where your cards will get destroyed. And it'll protect them. And I wanted to put the Lizard there as well. Because they have a lot of cards here. And if there are 4 opposing cards in that lane, the Lizard will go from 5 to 3. So we don't want that. We want to try to play him into a lane to assure a victory and not to contest a lane. And then we're going to go ahead and play our Claw into that lane as well to buff the mid lane because we want to win Death's Domain and we want to win Tinker's Workshop. That's our win conditions right now. They played a Khazar, so they're going to be playing a lot of 1-drop cards. So they get buffed, except for that Abomination. So now we're winning both of these lanes. It's our final turn. We're going to play the Iron Man to assure our victory in this lane. Add the Nightcrawler for a little extra power, and I don't think our opponent has anything to drop on Death's Domain that will beat our 14 power. Even with their big boy Hulk, the Iron Man outpowers him pretty easily, so we win that one. Here we are for match number 2. We are starting our hand with the Nightcrawler, the Armor, and the Spectrum. The peak, each card in your hand swaps its power and cost. So we don't like that because most of our cards in this hand were lower cost and now they're high cost, except for the Spectrum. But that means when our opponent plays the Rocket Raccoon, we don't have anything to play there, so he's not going to get the boost from the Rocket Raccoon. Next revealed is Death's Domain once again. When you play a card here, destroy it. And I'm trying to think what I want to do. It's too early for the Ant-Man. So we're just going to go play our Nightcrawler so we can move him around when needed. Our next location is the Nexus. Your power here is granted to other locations as well. This is the location we should be focusing on. In hindsight, I didn't focus on it, so I actually lost this match. But I'm going to explain to you why I lost this match. So we're going to play the Mr. Fantastic... No, we're going to play the Armor mid to stop Death's Domain. And then I move the Nightcrawler, I believe. I don't know if I move him just yet, but I know during the match I move him. I'm playing the Mr. Fantastic to give the left and right some power because I want the Nexus to get that power. And then I do move the Nightcrawler to give power to the other lanes. So as you can see, with all of those 2 powers given, the other lanes are buffed, but we're not quite there yet. I think by buffing this lane, it will help us win, but it ends up not helping us all that much. Because it looks like we're tied now. And then I do believe I drop the Spectrum and the Ant-Man. And I should have really dropped a lot more of those cards into the Nexus and maybe we would have won. But yeah, he dropped the Iron Man on that. There's no coming back. I can't contest with that amount of power. But now you can see just how strong that location is. That location by itself can win games. Anyway, let's jump back into the deck and see what other additions we want to make. Alright, so that was 2 practice matches. We lost one and we won one. Let's take a look at our deck. First, let's see if there's any other ongoing. Let's see, can we sort it? No. I'm not as familiar with our ongoing. That's an ongoing. Let's put in the Cosmo. The on-reveal abilities won't happen at this location. So this is how we'll stop our opponent from doing. Or... And here's the thing. This might be an ongoing deck, and that's because Spectrum is our win condition and we want to have a lot of ongoing cards, but she herself is an on reveal. And this one is an on reveal, but it's really good at kind of blocking the opponent. So I think I'm going to take out Colossus and put in Enchantress. We are pretty low on our 1-cost cards. Ooh. Let's take Claw out. Let's put in Blue Marvel. So Claw, we used him a little bit during the battles. He buffs the rightmost lane. But in my opinion, it's better to be able to not have to... The last match, the reason why we lost is because we were so focused on the mid because a lot of our cards were buffing other lanes. We want to be able to play the cards in the lane that we want them to be in. I just feel like Onslaught is a good option. But the Onslaught competes for the Spectrum. But that might not be the end of the world. But that's definitely going to mean we're going to want some other ongoing. So let's see. Let's see, double your... So we're going to want to get the Blue Marvel and the Onslaught in a lane together. For sure. I just want to check out and see if there's any other good ongoing. Most of these are on reveal. But we are going to stick the Angela just because I think she gives us more bang for our buck. Alright, I'm pretty satisfied with this for now. It's time to go test out our revised deck. Here we are for game number 3 with our new updated deck. We're starting off with the Armor, the Punisher, and the Namor, and the Angela. I can't play anything turn 1, so I'm going to go ahead and play that Angela on turn 2. The first location that is revealed is Sewer System. Cards here have -1 power, and it's okay. We don't want to put anything with only 1 power in that location, but as long as we're paying attention to what cards the opponent plays, it ends up evening out. Because we're both losing that 1 power. So don't actually be scared of the Sewer System. I'm looking at my Enchantress because I just want to make sure I know what she's doing. Subterranea is another location that appeared. Shuffle 5 rocks into each deck. That's unfortunate. Neither of us are going to really want those rocks in our decks, if I'm being honest. And we now have a random chance to draw a bunch of rocks and not the cards we want. Because we don't have the Spectrum in our hand yet. There's a lot of other cards that would be useful. I think we have a pretty good hand. Because if you look, we have a turn 2, a turn 3, and a turn 4. So yeah. And then the last room is the Danger Room. Cards played here have a 25 chance to be destroyed. This is another one of those destroy locations that the Armor would really do well in. But I'm going to let you know now, I decide not to do that because I also don't want... You have to really think, do I want the opponent to be able to play cards in this location as well or not? And I don't want the opponent to be able to play cards in that location, so I'm not going to drop the Armor there. I do go ahead and play the Punisher just because it'll give the Angela a boost and the opponent is already playing played 2 cards there. So he'll at least get a little healthy boost. But if we're paying attention, that Nightcrawler, the Captain America is an ongoing. Let me pause and check real quick. Okay, so yes, so the Captain America is an ongoing card, and we have an Enchantress. This card is going to buff quite a few cards, so we may have to sacrifice the Punisher and play our Enchantress there. I do go ahead and play the Namor with that 25% chance, because if he doesn't get destroyed, we have pretty much secured that lane. He's really good for winning single lanes. They dropped the Khazar, which means they probably have a bunch of +1 cards. That's what he buffs. But that is another ongoing card, and I'm about to check that. See, he's ongoing. My Enchantress stops ongoing. I'm going to drop her there to stop the America and the Khazar. So the America doesn't get the buffs to the other cards. Khazar doesn't give buffs to the other cards. One thing to note, the Ant-Man still got his on-reveal effect, even though, or his ongoing effect, even though Enchantress was played here. And that's because he was played after the Enchantress. So the Enchantress you want to play when you know your opponent has played cards and you want to just take that away from them real quick. Don't play it too early, because even after you've played that card, it doesn't stop the new cards from activating their abilities. And now we have the Spectrum. I'm not too worried about the right lane. I don't think they're going to be able to contest that. So I want to drop her mid, and I'm going to give, she is not an ongoing, she's an on reveal. So the Enchantress doesn't apply to her. And we buff all of our cards, winning this lane and the right lane. Alright, and here is the final match of the day. We have Mr. Fantastic, Onslaught, Captain America, and Enchantress. The first location revealed is Onslaught Citadel. Ongoing effects here are doubled. Our Enchantress stops ongoing effects. So she's potentially, that's a location where we would want to drop that card. Sokovia, discard a card from each player's hand. I just lost my Onslaught, which is unfortunate. Hopefully we still get the Spectrum. And Sokovia, and then our opponent lost the Lizard, which is okay. I would have contested a Lizard lane regardless. See, you can see I'm thinking about playing both of those cards. I can't play them just yet, but I am thinking about it. I'm trying to kind of gauge and see what our opponent is doing. So they play their Colossus. And then we have another Death's Domain. When you play a card here, destroy it. It must be Death's Domain's special weekend or special day. That will happen. Every couple of days or on the weekend, Marvel Snap dictates a location that is going to appear more often than the other ones. And right now it's Death's Domain, so it's a good reason we have the armor in this deck. They play the Punisher in this location, which is okay. We have our Blue Marvel, which is good because now we can do a Blue Marvel Spectrum combo. We want to put the Captain America where we're playing cards. We're not really playing cards into the Onslaught Citadel, so it doesn't really make sense. And it was for the best. Our opponent played their Cosmo into that lane. This is where I'm thinking about dropping that Enchantress there, but because of the Cosmo, I can't. So I'm going to just play the blue Marvel and buff that lane. I'm actually still winning the right lane. Our opponent hasn't contested that. They just moved their Nightcrawler to the left lane, so we have a good chance for the mid and the right lane. Now, I'm going to show you something cheeky. I'm going to play the Spectrum. I probably could have just played her mid. She gets destroyed, but I buffed my cards anyway. She buffed them even... That's why I did it. I wanted to show you what happens. You could still play a card into Death's Domain, have the ability activate. You just won't keep the power there. And so I did that because I just wanted to buff those cards. I could have played her mid and it would have been just fine. I really just wanted to make sure that the opponent wasn't playing anything there, and of course they're not. It's Death's Domain. So that was a little bit of a misplay on my part. I probably should have stuck the Spectrum mid, but that's okay. It all worked out. We won the match. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. Next time we are going to be doing a Devil Dino episode on deck building for the Devil Dino. If you enjoyed this content, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps a lot. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!